Welcome grade 3 and 4 to English class, lesson 106, describing a thing. Did you ever hear the poem, this little rhyme, the world is so full of such wonderful things, I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. You ever hear that? Probably not, I never did either. But the point of this lesson is to learn how to describe something. So if you ever have been telling somebody about something that you saw or that you know about and they don't know what it is, you need to describe it in a good way so they can picture it in their mind. That's what you're going to be doing with this lesson. So how do you do that? Well, if you read over the lesson, it's going to tell you how, and I'm also just going to look over a few things with you so we can learn how to do that good. Not just learn how to do it, but learn how to do it really well, right? So, probably something to know important when you're describing a thing is to answer these questions. What color is it? How does it feel? How big is it? What shape does it have? So you want to be able to answer those questions with that describing something, and also you need to use, you want to keep it short, and you want to use descriptive words so that they're interested in it and they want to look into it further maybe. And also, where do you get your information for describing this thing? Right here I have a bunch of reference books. You can use reference books. Now you can also use the internet if you have access to that. Google, Grammar Google, like some people call it. There's endless information on there if you're researching something, but you don't need much. You just want to basically answer some simple questions and also describe it in a way that you can get a good picture with it with just a short paragraph. So writing a description. First of all, let's look at these reference books. What is a reference book? Well, this is called the Old Farmer's Almanac, 2012, so it's fairly old already. But this basically is a weather forecast for 5 regions of Canada. And farmers like it because the reason it's called a Farmer's Almanac because it tells tips for planting or when to plant it, or interesting stuff like July. You can turn to the page, the month of July, and it tells you it just has some interesting paragraphs about July, what July is like. And it also has some information for planting and stuff. So that's one reference book where you can get information. Here is a Bible Atlas. It's called Baker's Bible Atlas. You can get all kinds of information in here about the Bible. Maybe Bible Times. There's maps, there's pictures, and encyclopedia. That's a great reference. You've all used these before. You can look up whatever you want to look at. And here I just opened it and I came to a grasshopper, and it tells you all kinds of stuff about those. Or you can have a dictionary is also a reference book. You can look up the word. You might have a word you don't know what it means. You can look it up in here and it tells you what it means, what it is. It's kind of like a description. It's describing something. So that's what reference books are, and that's why we use them, to learn things, right? So when you describe something, I did some research on northern pike. You know what those are? Those are fish around here. And I used Google, and I came up with a few things. So let's look at that now. Then I just tried to write it in a short paragraph and keep it nice and short. Northern pike are a species of predator fish found in Canada and other northern countries. They can grow very big, up to 60 inches, and weigh up to 63 pounds. Just stop and think about that for a little bit. They get pretty big. Their average size is 16 to 22 inches. Pike are longer, skinny fish with a mean appearance. Their mouth is full of shark-like teeth. They are aggressive fish, even eating each other, cannibalism, if prey gets scarce. They are known to take over other fish, which results in them surviving quite well. So right there is a short description of northern pike. And I was looking at information, and you can write a huge report about all kinds of interesting stuff about northern pike. But when you're just describing something, you want to have it short and to the point, and also not just, you want to have interesting information, not just things that you make up. Northern pike are fish. They are very nice fish. They are fun to fish. They can get very big. Northern pike are skinny. Northern pike are so-and-so. If you just go about describing something like that, people are going to get bored and they still have no idea what it is, right? So that's just a short description of northern pike. Barely touched the surface of what it is, but it can make you interested further. If you'll notice, I didn't even answer all these questions. I didn't tell what color it is. How does it feel? Well, for a fish, that's kind of common sense. It's going to be slimy, right? Northern pike are really slimy. They are so slimy if you pick them up, and if you don't have a good grip on them, they're probably going to come shooting out of your hands and back in the water, and you'll lose your fish before you get a picture. So of course, fish are slimy. How big is it? Talked about that, right? How big they can get. 60 inches would be like huge. That's probably the world record one. Same as 63 pounds. I think that was the world record. But even if you caught this is off subject, but even if you caught a 10-pound pike, that's very big. The biggest pike I ever caught, how much did it weigh again? I think it was almost 8 pounds. So it's decent pike for around here, especially. If you go farther north, they're going to get bigger even. But 63 pounds, imagine. And the longest it was 34 inches. So that's a decent size too, but only half the size of 60 inches, right? I think that 60-inch, or the world record fish, was caught in Germany, I believe. So they have northern pike in Northern Europe. And so how big is it, and what shape does it have? I also described some of that, and some other things too. So remember that when you're writing a description. And in today's lesson, you need to write a description. There are 3 pictures, and you have to pick one of the pictures and write a description about it. So I want you to pick one of those pictures, write your description, make sure you do it how the lesson tells you, and then send me a picture of your description so I can read it and figure out what those things are. So I'll be waiting for those. Hopefully this is a fun lesson for you, because it is a fun lesson. And the next couple lessons are going to be similar to this. Describing a place, describing a person, describing orally, so as in standing up in front of people and describing something. So I just want you to send a picture of your result, of your description, and then I can read it to myself. So have a great day.